Hey you guys, welcome back. I'm making a second video. So this may be a thing. We shall see. Next weekend I'm going on a overnight hike, not in my backyard, a backpacking trip. So I wanted to be sure that I had this cold sleeping system down pat. So there was actually a night last night that was identical to the same weather conditions that I tested previously. I changed up a few things, so I thought I'd go through them with you just in case it's helpful to you guys, what worked for me and what didn't. So I'll go through each of the items separately. And just to confirm, it got down to about 17 degrees again last night with some high winds. So I actually took a thermometer inside the tent this time. I had thought that the tent might be, I don't know, 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it was outside. But no, it was maybe like a 3-degree difference. So inside my tent, it was around 20 degrees most of the time. Number 1, sleeping pad. So previously I was against the idea of getting an insulated sleeping pad or a warmer one because I didn't want to have to swap out equipment just for the inconvenience. So in my last video, my thought was to maybe get a closed cell foam sleeping pad. So I did purchase one. I got the Thermarest Z-Lite Sole. But when I got to thinking about it, this puppy is 14 ounces, and the difference in weight between my Nemo Vector uninsulated pad and the Nemo Vector insulated pad was only about 3 ounces. So it made a lot more sense for me to go ahead and swap out the gear rather than carrying 14 extra ounces. I mean, come on, that's a lot. So I had the Nemo Tensor inflatable sleeping pad last time. The Nemo products don't have an R rating, but that product is rated, I believe it's 30 to 40 degrees on their site. And since the temperature got down to just below 20, I knew I was pushing the limits of that product. I had hoped that I was making up for that difference with the aluminum windshield thing I used, and also some additional clothing on top of my sleeping clothes. But so I thought I'd try a different sleeping pad this time. I got the Neo Air X-Therm Max because a girl has to have some comforts on the trail. And I got this one because it was recommended by several different people, so I thought, why not give it a shot? It's real loud. That bothers me, but I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. Problem with this is, I don't know if I have a defective one or what, but this is still inflated, and this is what it looks like. So just a few hours into the night, it was low enough that I swapped out to the second sleeping pad that I got that I wanted to try out. I'll show you that next. So since I was a big fan of the Nemo Vector, I did want to try out their insulated version to see how well it would perform. So this is the Nemo Vector insulated that's rated from 15 to 25 degrees. Nemo does not use an R rating, and after speaking with the company, they claimed there's no real regulated way to come up with those R values, so they didn't feel that they were entirely accurate, so they put the degrees instead. So I swapped to this after the other one was deflating after a couple of hours, and it performed really well. I wasn't cold on it like I was with the uninsulated Tensor. I didn't have any problems, so I think this is the one that I'm going to stick with. And there's a couple features that I really, really like about the Vector. You can see the baffles are square. That is super, super comfortable for side sleepers like me. It feels like you're sleeping on a regular mattress. It really does. And there is some sort of, check their website to get some more information, but there's some sort of foil backing like right in the middle of this rather than the top, and they said that it keeps it warm, but it also keeps it from having noise. And there's also some, I think it's PrimaLoft insulation along the top of this pad. But what I like about the Vector, and the reason I want to stick with this, is it has a built-in foot pump. So at the end of the day, after hiking all day, I am not going to be sitting there blowing up my sleeping pad. I've heard too many people complaining about that, and I know I would be annoyed with that. So it pumps up in about 1 minute, tops. So fast. The other thing I really like about it is it has a dump valve here on the bottom. So when you're ready to get up, get ready for the day, You pop that dump valve, it deflates entirely in about 1 second and you're good to go. No squeeze in it, all the air out of the pad, super fast. So I think this is the winner. And so I got a quilt because I did not like the feeling of a mummy bag that I tried previously, because I'm a side sleeper, I roll around, and I don't like the feeling of being constricted. So I fought against sleeping bag liners because that defeated the whole purpose. Then I was constricted again. But I did go ahead and get one just to try out to see what it's like. And I got the Sea to Summit Thermolite Reactor. I got the lightest one just for ounces. I'm trying to keep it as light as possible, and just to see how warm it got me. It claims it increases the warmth by up to, and you know what that means, up to 14 degrees. So probably not 14 degrees, but maybe somewhere below that. But it looks like. So you can see it was pretty sheer, but you know what? I put it on. I think it did help. I will probably end up bringing this just in case, because it did keep me warm. What I didn't like about it though is with the quilt, I had to be real careful to keep the edges tucked under me, to keep the cold air from getting in, and so throughout the night I would check that. But with this liner, I couldn't tell as well if the sides were all tucked in, and my arms were within that thing, so it was a little difficult each time I turned to make sure that everything was okay. So there are a couple other things that I swapped out to see how they would do. Hot hands and hot feet. So if you remember from last time, I'm a naturally cold person, and my feet were really the biggest problem, because while my feet are always cold, way colder than most people, they were uncomfortably and possibly even dangerously cold last time. So I decided to get a couple sets of these puppies, see how they worked out. So I opened up the hot hands first, and it said you don't shake it up. It starts warming up in 15 to 30 minutes. So the instructions say to have a layer of fabric between your skin and this thing so you don't get potential burns. Well, I just wanted to see what would happen, so I put it right inside my sock against my skin. And it helped. I could feel a little warmth, but it was not as warm as what I had wanted. So after about, 10 minutes, I opened up some hot feet and put these in there too. And my feet were warm then, but at some point they did get too warm, so I took the hot hands and hot feet out of my possum down socks, and I put them on the outside of my socks but still within my down booties, and that actually worked out quite well. Didn't need to, it was pretty warm, but I mean, I wasn't complaining because I'm usually cold. Next time, just one will do the job though. I also didn't eat that well last time, and from what I've heard, you're supposed to have a full stomach so that you have calories to burn to keep your body warm throughout the night. So I did eat a dinner around 8 o'clock this time, and I also brought a little midnight snack, Reese's peanut butter cups, and I was a little worried about getting crumbs in my tent, but it's pretty good. And I do think that probably helped keep me a little warmer this time. So if you'd like to see what other sleeping ensemble I had going on besides these changes that I made this time, go back and watch the first video. But I would say, all in all, I slept pretty warm. I was pretty pleased. I think these items are going to be staying with me, and I'm going to be taking them on my backpacking trip next weekend. So 10 miles one day, overnight with all my fun sleeping items, and then 10 miles the next day. So should be fun. Maybe I'll take you guys along, huh? So thanks for watching. See you next time.